Hi, this is Caleb with Practical Daz Advice, and today I'm going to show you how to edit aniMate blocks. I'm sure you've seen on the Daz3D storefront these animation functions that they call aniMate. They come in these blue blocks like this under the posing and animate right there, and you add them onto your character and you get these animations. What it doesn't really show you is how to edit them, how to fix them. So I'm going to show you how to make these things work for you. The first thing you're going to need is you're going to have to buy aniMate 2. It's a plug-in function. It's basically the full-fledged function of Daz's animation program. Now, it's important to note that Daz is not a dedicated animation program. Do not treat it like it is. It is a good beginning point. But if you want to get serious about animation, you're going to have to get out of Daz and do it someplace else. iClone is probably the next reasonable step. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to take the basic forward cycle walk function and drop it in on my character. And you notice his feet are off, his head is down, his hands are clipping. It doesn't look very good. That's because it was made for an older generation, but that's okay. We can still use it. All we have to do is do some quick edit to it. So I'm going to double click on the blue block, all right, and that takes me to this level. There's 3 levels to these blocks. The first is your standard summary. The second is your first editing layer, and the third, by clicking right here, is your keyframes. So I double click on the block, I enter into my keyframes. It will start you at base, and it should look like this, where every keyframe is filled. So I'm going to click on the base, I'm going to go to the next level. I'm going to move it to part. I'm going to go to the first frame, I'm going to click on what I want to change. I want to change his foot. And I'm just going to bend it down so it's flat on the ground. I'm going to grab his other foot, I'm going to bend that where it's flat on the ground. I've now made that for every repeat of this frame, and you can see that for the rest of the animation it maintains that, which is perfect. That's what we want to do. The next thing I want to do is I want to move his head up. So I'm going to tilt his head up. And you notice for the rest of the animation, his head is up. Now he looks a little more natural, a little more normal. Next, what I want to do is I'm going to show you how to change expressions and other things. So with the ana blocks, they repeat themselves. So everything you do in the first cell will be repeated in the second and third and fourth cell. So if you want to do something that you don't want to be repeated, you need to drop a new block onto your frame and go from there. But we're not going to worry about that today. Now, one of the things that's kind of neat is everything that you apply will go from the beginning forward unless you put a start point to it. If I go here and put an expression of afraid, it will apply it all the way through the animation. If I want a transition, I need to go to my first frame, click on the expressions, and I have to tell it that I'm manipulating this. So now it has registered on the keyframe a 0 and 100. And so anything that you apply later in a cell, you need to be sure to go to where you want that transition to begin in the cell and manipulate it down as well. If you don't do that, it's going to apply for that entire cell. The next thing I want to show you is timeline animation. We're going to go to timeline, and I'm going to click on his tail. I have it at 8 frames per second, so that means there's 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 1 second. I have mine on very low frame rate because I do a lot of cartoon animation, double the frames and other things like that, so I get away with rendering at low animation frame rates. 24 is the standard for video. So I'm going to go to 1 second, and I'm going to move it just slightly, and I'm going to come down the tail, and I'm going to twist that. Then I'm going to go another 8 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You see that down here? That's my current. So if I want to put 24, and skip to 24, or I can skip to 8, go back to 16. So here, twist it back up, and I go back to my other part that I manipulated, move it a little bit to there. That's all I'm going to do. So now, as he walks, his tail just moves a little bit with him. This can be very helpful for secondary items that you have attached to the character, like a cape, or a hat, or cloth, or something else that you can do. That's all we're going to do today. There's a whole big world when it comes to animation, and we'll probably have more videos on animation in the future. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Share this with your friends. Have fun. Create awesome things. This is Caleb with Practical Daz Advice. Be at peace.